Welcome to Real Awake and Wild. My name is Monique Gomez, your guide to becoming spiritually embodied, learn about conscious sexuality, and awaken to the truth of who you are. This week, we're talking about emotional homes. So you might be thinking, what is an emotional home? So your emotional home is the emotion that you automatically attach to as you experience life. This is the emotion that feels safe and comfortable for you to express. Okay. So as a human, you experience a wide array of emotions throughout your life. I mean, heck, even throughout your day, you're experiencing a ton of emotions. These emotions can range from happiness and joy to anxiety or calm, to sadness, anger, grief, confidence, irritation, jealousy, gratitude, or even love. And this is just to name a few. As you know, there's a ton of emotions that we get to experience, but generally, we tend to have one or two that we like to attach to. Okay. Now, there's an array of these, but there's an array of the emotions, but you can move through them, right? In a very short amount of time. In fact, that's what emotions are meant to do. Your emotional home is the emotions that kind of are your default emotional experience, that for some reason throughout your life, you have chosen that that emotion feels the best, okay, or is the safest. So the outside world and our daily life give us reasons to go to our emotional home. This means that no matter what is presenting, we tend towards the emotions that feel familiar or like home. I often like to think of our emotional home as a cave we choose out of a line of cave openings on the side of a mountain, right? So I like to imagine like I'm in the forest and I get to choose what cave I'm going to go into. What emotion am I going to go into? Each one has a different, you know, emotion. So there's fear, there's anxiety, there's happiness, there's joy, there's gratitude, there's sadness, all labeled on the top. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into the one that feels the best to me because I get to get enveloped in that emotion. And I can stay as long as I want, right? Like that's my emotional cave and that's where I'm going to be. Personally, mine that I go to is depression. I'm comfortable there. I'm happy being depressed sometimes. And it's familiar to me. It's a place that I go to feel safe. Like I know what depression feels like and I can be in it, for a bit. And that's my emotional home. Going to your emotional home is a habit. We create habits by continually choosing to go to that place that we're choosing to go to. Often this emotional home is created when we are children because we're trying to cope with the life around us. So we usually feel an emotion and we're like, okay, this one is the one that I'm going to go to often, or the one that we feel the most. There are many reasons I have chosen my emotional home. I've had a lot of trauma and loss and abuse, all of which have made me very sad. I tend towards depression because it's a home for me as I've lived through my experiences. But as I've worked deeper with my emotions and bringing awareness to them, I have been able to create choice to experience different emotions that have widened my experience. And as I work more with understanding emotional landscapes, I can see how there is also a choice of the emotion that we attach to or not attached to, you know? Remember that emotions are meant to move. So sometimes a choice will be actually not going to an emotional home, right? Instead, we live the emotion, we feel the emotion, we go all in with that emotion, we let it move, and then we go to the next one and we see what shows up after that. So I invite you this week to get curious about your emotional home. Do you have an emotional home? And what emotion do you tend to go to when life gets overwhelming? Maybe it's anger, maybe it's irritation, maybe you get really, really happy and it's like, oh, this doesn't make sense. So that is the inner reflection question this week. I invite you to journal about it. If you feel called, you can share it in the comment box below because I love to hear from you and your process throughout this time together. You can always head over to moniquegomez.com for more on embodiment, conscious sexuality, and awakening authenticity. And don't forget, if you're not already on my email list, go ahead and sign up there because that's where I get to share more inspiration, freebies, and love that you don't get anywhere else. Until next time, my friends, stay very, very curious. Take care.